Welcome to Travel Secrets with me, Tanya Rose, the podcast sharing wisdom for fellow travellers. Each week, I ask my guests to reveal their 6 travel secrets and the holidays and adventures that surround them. I would just like to say thank you to Mason Rose, the sales and communication agency that represents some of the finest hotels around the world, for partnering with Travel Secrets, the podcast. Today, my guest is one of my very favourite people in the world, the famous lyricist Don Black. It's so wonderful to have you sitting next to me on the sofa. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see you.
I'm trying so hard to look humble.
We met through a mutual friend a few years ago, and I didn't know that you were going to be there. And I was introduced to you, and the hostess said, "This is Don Black." And I went into fangirl mode. I said, "You are literally my favourite lyricist in the world." Most people listen to pop music in their cars. I listen to musicals. So your catalogue of songs have been the songbook of my life. From Born Free, Diamonds Are Forever, my very favourite song in the world, which not everybody might know, which is from the wonderful film with Michael Caine, On Days Like These. I absolutely adore that song. I listen to it almost every day in my car.
Yeah, that was Matt Monro's favourite.
Was it really?
Out of all the songs,
was it really?
I wrote for him. Yeah.
And you were Matt Monro's manager as well as a lyricist, weren't you?
Yeah. We were very good. I went round the world with Matt Monro and never saw any of it because he wasn't interested in that.
Really?
It's funny, he was marvellous. But he liked a game of cards in the hotel room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you stayed in the hotel and then didn't...
Yeah, I know. That's not the thing to say to you, of course. But it was funny. I used to say to him, "Matt, you realise outside that window there's Ipanema Beach." And then I say, the Fifth Avenue's over there. He'd say, "It's your deal." And in a lovely way, he was the loveliest man.
He had the most divine voice,
yes,
though, didn't he? And that song really is. I mean, he did a lot of your songs, but that really is wonderful.
The great Quincy Jones did the music.
Did he?
Yeah.
And then Aspects of Love, one of my favourite musicals, Sunset Boulevard. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but Don has the most amazing stories. So I am delighted to have you and to hear your travel secrets.
Yeah, I'm honoured to be here. I hope I do it justice because when I go on holiday, I'm very happy to reflect and contemplate rather than see everything or eat everything. So we'll see how we get on.
That's wonderful. Before we actually go into your travel secrets, perhaps you can tell everybody a little bit about who you are and how your life has
of course. Well, lyric writers are known for being condensed. Everything is, economy of words. So I'll say it quickly. So I came from the East End of London, Hackney, and I came. One of 5, I'm the youngest of 5. And I've always been interested in words. And I can tell you exactly when it started and how it started. My sister Nita, God bless her, she said to me one day, she's going to Pictures to see a big film. It's called They Made Me a Fugitive. It was a big film at the time. And I said, I said, "Are you going to see They Made Me a Fugitive?" And she burst out laughing and said to everyone, "Donald said fugitive." Now, from then on, I was about 12, I used to go to my teacher on vocabulary. I used to ask everyone, what does diagnosis mean? What does garrulous mean? Any word. And it was a bit of fixation with me, that. And my wife later on in life used to test me. Dictionary. I had a thing about vocabulary because of that. And that went into songwriting. But anyway, from there, I left school and I went to Denmark Street, which is Timpan Alley. It was known as Timpan Alley, Denmark Street. It was also known as 200 Yards of Hokum, which is a lovely way of describing it. It's surrounded by songwriters.
Oh, really?
And you won't know these names, but not many people do know names of songwriters. But they had a man called Jimmy Kennedy, who wrote My Prayer, Red Sails in the Sunset, Michael Carr, who wrote South of the Border, and all these people. And I was surrounded by them because I worked for a music publisher and the New Musical Express.
Oh, yeah.
And every time they wanted an English lyric for something, there was only one man they went to. It's a man called Norman Newell.
Oh,
And he was a lovely, he wrote More Than the Greatest Love the World Has. No, he wrote that. He wrote Portrait of My Love. And that obviously registered with me. And anyway, I started writing lyrics because I love Cole Porter and Irving Berlin. And I was always driving my family mad about Cole Porter. Anyone can say goodbye, don't leave me, song. But it takes a Cole Porter to say, every time we say goodbye, I die a little. Or, when skies look grey to me, I concentrate on you. And it just got to me. And also lyrics, difficult words in lyrics like Cry Me a River, which is, my friend wrote that, Arthur Hamilton. And the line that, you told me love was too plebeian. Yeah. And straight away to the dictionary, plebeian,
what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's such a good
Same
song.
as Noel Coward as well in Mad About the Boy. Will it ever cloy? This diversity of misery, diversity. I had to get these words in songs. I was just and people thought, is Donald mad? My family like that. But anyway, eventually, to cut a long story short, in Denmark Street, I made very good friends with John Barry, the great composer. Just to give your viewers and listeners an idea, he did Out of Africa, Dances with Wolves, 11 James Bond films. A fabulous man. And he was my best friend.
Was he?
And so was Matt Monro, a struggling singer. And Matt, when he started doing something, he found a tune which was called Warum no Warum, which is an Austrian tune. And he said to me, I'll do an impression of him. He says, listen, son, if Lionel Bart can do it, why can't you? Have a go at that thing. So I did have a go at it, and I called it Walk Away. And it was a hit. I really couldn't believe it was a hit because I'd written before, but nothing happened at all, nothing. I wrote one song for Matt before, and I remember when the PRS check came in, which was, it was £10, but I didn't know you could make money. And £10, we were just starting, me and the missus. And, that was how it started. And that song turned out to be John Barry's favourite song.
Did it? Really?
He loved, well, it's about an old man and a young girl, which he could relate to. And he said, when he heard it, he said to me, I do another impression of John Barry. He said to me, he's from Yorkshire, do you fancy having a go at Thunderball? So I said, what is that? And he said, it's a James Bond thing they've asked me to do. So I did that.
Did you do Thunderball first? Was that your first James Bond?
Yes, it was,
it?
Yeah. And it was very successful.
It was.
And it got me into movie songs. And it was great. I mean, I could reminisce all day about those days because I did over 100 films.
Did you do with John Barry Born Free?
I did.
That is the most beautiful song and an amazing theme tune for people's lives, isn't it?
It is, but you need a lot of luck in this business. And I had two pieces of luck because Carl Foreman, the producer of it, didn't like it.
Oh.
No, he didn't like it. He said he thought John's melody was too syrupy.
Oh.
And he thought my lyric was too much of a social comment. He said it should be more about lions and tigers. That's like lions and cages, rather, not tigers. And but it went in because the publishers said it won't be eligible for an Academy Award unless it's in every print, because he started out not in every print, but it was a hit in America by Roger Williams and his orchestra and chorus. So they rushed every print back to put it in to see if it would be eligible for an Oscar. And so then of course it comes to, we got nominated for it, which was exciting. I didn't think we'd have a chance. I didn't even think about it. You got to remember, I was 27 when this happened.
Amazing.
which is 20 years ago. So
Absolutely, the other day.
But so I'm sitting there next to Burt Bacharach and Hal David, who were nominated for Alfie.
Oh, were they?
Which was such a great song.
Yeah, Michael Caine film. Yeah,
lovely.
Fantastic.
And then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, the great Dean Martin, opened the envelope, and the winner is John Barry and Don Black for Born Free. So it was amazing.
That's incredible.
But the bit about, which was wonderful, is that Carl Foreman, who didn't like it at all, put his arm around me at the after party and said, well, it does grow on you.
Oh, it's just fantastic.
And that was one piece of great luck. And the other piece of luck was when I did Diamonds Are Forever with John Barry. There were two producers, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman. Harry Saltzman heard it and didn't like that either.
No.
He said, it's too filthy. You can't say touch it, stroke it, and undress it. You can't say that. And John Barry said, well, what do you know about songs? And slammed the door. It was a nasty thing. But Shirley Bassey loved it.
And she did such a great job.
So that's also, you do need a bit of luck, because Born Free couldn't have happened, Diamonds couldn't have happened, but thankfully they did.
Well, I'm going to go into your travel secrets, but I have one more question about when you're writing lyrics. So something like Born Free was about a lion and, the lion being freed and everything. Did you go there? Did you see the lion? I mean, how do you come up with those lines?
Well, people think, there's that you have to read scripts. You have to. Whenever I do a film or have done a film, I like someone to say what it's about. Just what is it about? And in a sentence or two. And, someone said to me, Virginia McKenna, and who was a lovely lady, and all that crowd of people, it's about a lion who's been tamed, and they want to send him in the wild, send her to the wild. I said, is that it? That's it, really. But when you hear the tune and you think, oh, my God, this is got to be moving. It's got to give you goosebumps. This is. So, it's just something you do. No one can explain. That's why it's very hard interviewing a songwriter, because no one really knows how it's done. You don't know, you just do it.
Well, you do know, because every song you've written has been amazing. So for Please Sir, for example, how did you find that?
To Sir With Love, you mean?
I mean, To Sir With Love, yeah.
To Sir With Love. Well, that was, again, James Clavell, the man who wrote it, said it's about a black man who comes to the East End of London, and they're horrible kids. They're horrible. They're horrible. They throw things at him. But eventually, they get to like him. And the film's called To Sir With Love. Yeah. And I wrote that on my kitchen, and that's one of in my kitchen table. And it's one of the few songs I've written the lyrics first.
Oh, really?
Because normally you get the music first. And I just wrote it down, and Lulu they all loved the lyric. But they sent it out to about 10 people to write the melody. And it was up to Lulu to choose the right one, and she chose the right one.
She did, and she sang it absolutely beautifully, and the film was amazing. Let's get into your travel secrets. What is the number one destination you think everyone should go to once in their lifetime?
I'd love to say something arcane and exotic, but I'll say something lovely, and that is the Cipriani in Venice.
Oh, yes.
Which I know you know every place in the world, so it won't surprise you. It was recommended by Michael Winner. And the reason I like it is it's like no place on earth, that place. Had the most fabulous swimming pool.
Amazing.
The shuttle that takes you to St. Mark's Square. It's just, and also it's a poet's dream, if you like, a bridge of sighs, most romantic. Said, you must come with me.
I love the Cipriani. It's so wonderful. And Michael Winner was a mutual friend of both of ours.
Yes.
And he did his big birthday party there, didn't he?
That's right. And they do have a picture of him in the hall.
He used to terrorize them. He used Yes. The people at the Orient Express used to phone me and say, Mr. Winner is coming. And I said, don't worry. If you make sure you do everything he asks, make sure he has the right sparkling water. He has a bed in the morning on one side of the pool, and on the other side in the afternoon, you'll be absolutely fine. I loved Michael. He was fantastic. Yes. If he loved you, he loved you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I must say, I was a little disappointed in Harry's bar. I
Very
must say that.
interesting.
Only because I expected it's a lovely restaurant. But, when people talk about Harry's Bar, you think, you're surprised that it's just a restaurant.
It is just a small
It's just
restaurant.
a restaurant, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
But you expect more because of the reputation.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a very good table in the corner, which is the table you need to have, where Ernest Hemingway always used to sit. That's the table, because then you can see the whole restaurant.
Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah. And also, if you can't afford to go to Harry's Bar, you can just go in for a Bellini.
Yes.
Which is really delicious. And at least you get the experience of Harry's Bar, don't you?
Right.
I do love the Cipriani. There's a better hotel that's going to be opening next year, which I'm going to send you to.
Okay.
Right next to the Cipriani, there's the most beautiful old palace, and it's going to be opened by Erel, which is a French group. And the garden in the Erel Hotel is bigger than the Cipriani one.
Oh, that garden is
super.
Beyond.
Yeah, it really is. And actually, the funny thing about the Cipriani is that the architect got the dimensions of the pool wrong, which is why it's double the size.
I see.
They did it in feet instead of meters, or meters instead of feet,
right.
whichever. I can't remember
Right.
which is bigger. What is your most unexpected travel experience?
This is an easy question to answer, which is nice to get an easy one. We were on the way to Sydney. We stopped in Singapore and we stayed at Raffels. And it was a fantastic place. I loved that hotel, the colonial architecture. But the two things I love in life, there's probably a longer list than this, but I've always played snooker.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big thing in me. It's just a passion. I always find it very calming. I have done. And I've always loved Rudyard Kipling.
Oh,
And they both have a connection to Raffles.
do they?
Yes. Rudyard Kipling used to go there to write.
Oh,
So did Somerset Maugham.
oh, really?
And this billiard table became famous because of an unusual incident that happened. In 1902, the last tiger in Singapore was shot under that table.
No.
Yeah, it's a great, if anyone can look it up, it's a great story.
I did not know that.
No, a tiger came from the local circus and he escaped. And he was sleeping under that billiard table. It's a famous story.
Was it a hotel then already?
Yes.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
it was a hunter was staying at the hotel and shot the tiger. That is the story. And I played snooker on the table.
Did you win?
No, it was only me, just playing by myself. But so I remember that. Also, I always remember I had a Singapore sling.
I was going to say, did you have a
I
Singapore
had a Singapore
sling?
sling, and because I don't drink hardly, so it was a big thing for me. I'm still not quite over it.
I was going to say, did it make you very lightheaded? Oh, my goodness, they're
And
very
everyone
strong.
smiles in Singapore.
Yeah, it's a lovely place. And
It's
that hotel
lovely.
is very lovely.
You've
Really
been
lovely.
there?
I have
You-
been there.
yeah.
I have been there. I stayed there a couple of nights when I was going on my way to Bali.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
right.
very lovely. Very, very lovely. What is your most overrated travel experience? Or underrated, it could be.
Yeah, it's an odd thing I'm going to say now, because what I'm going to say now was really fabulous when I first went there. Underrated, I would say, and now it's overrated. And that is the Empire State Building.
Oh.
And when I went years ago with Matt Monroe, we talked like 50 years ago, it was a mixture of joy and terror to go up those 85 stories or something like that, more than that. But it was a slow lift and claustrophobic and everything. And recently, because I went for the opening of Sunset Boulevard,
Yeah.
I took my grandchildren there. And it's terrible. You say, we're up at the top in a minute.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
it's so
digital.
crowded
It's
and
crowded and so
have to
full of
queue.
merchandise. It lost all its splendor. So I was disappointed about that.
One of my favourite films has the Empire State Building, An Affair to Remember.
Oh, I love that. I love the tune.
Love that film.
Yes, it was a great.
Who wrote that song?
Yeah, it's a film composer. No
I
one.
love affair. I shouldn't sing because I
Love
can't
it,
sing.
I don't
Oh,
love
it was
it.
wonderful
It's
with
beautiful.
Deborah Kerr and Cary Grant.
Yes, it was a
So
great one.
lovely. Such a great film. I've got a good tip. If you ever go back with your grandchildren, instead of going to the Empire State Building, if you go to the top of the Rock, which is the Rockefeller Center,
Yes.
it's much less merchandisey. You don't have to queue. You have the same view exactly.
Yeah.
And if you go at sunset, it is really wonderful. Much
But I am
less
going
touristy.
back.
Well,
Hopefully for the Tony Awards.
are you
Hopefully.
going to be nominated?
I've got no idea, but we
Did you win an Olivier for the London one?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a fantastic production. I love the fact that he walks outside when he's singing Sunset Boulevard.
That was, yeah.
Do they do that in the New York one as well? So they go up and
they
around.
go all around 46th Street. I mean, it's incredible.
It's very clever. And she
so
is
surprising.
fantastic.
It's so surprising for the star, one of the stars of the show, suddenly walks out into the street.
Yeah.
It's singing.
So good.
Yeah, it's good.
What do they do when it rains then? They've
got that covered.
Have they?
Yeah, they've got it covered.
Yeah. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm going in April, so I will go and see the Broadway show.
Yeah.
I've seen it in London, but I'll definitely go and see
Good.
and so go to the top of the rock and see
Okay.
if it's a better experience. I think you'll find it is a better experience. Let's go on to food and drink. This is so much part of travel.
Yeah, well, for me, it's always who you're with.
Yeah.
And, I've had so many wonderful dinners of people like Billy Wilder.
Oh, my goodness.
Many times have dinner
Did
with
you?
him.
How amazing.
Breakfast with John Wayne. All the composers, of course, the great American composers. And the food is not that important when you're having dinner. But one thing that went really well with both the food and the person, I'll leave the person to last, bit of a drum roll when it comes. And it was at Les Ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know it's probably not right for you because I'm not sure. I think you have to be a member, so it's probably
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Okay,
Not
fine.
at all.
Well, we had lobster thermidor, which was incredible. But the man who I was with was Mario Puzo, the Godfather, man who wrote The Godfather.
Absolutely.
And he was a most wonderful man.
Oh,
and we went there 2 or 3 times with him. And when you're having dinner with someone like that and the food's good, that's your evening. So you don't need...
Well, what more could you ask for?
And when you have dinner with Glenn Close and people like that, and Shirley MacLaine, you think of the dinners and the lunches, and what did you eat? Oh, who cares?
Yeah, it's who you're with, absolutely. When you do a show, do you do post or pre usually?
What, eating?
Eating.
Pre if I can, although most artists like to go after the show.
Yeah, because
So
they're
it's a late-
exhausted. And in Broadway, for example, what are the restaurants that people go to? Is it Lazar, something Lazar?
Well, the Sardis is the main one.
Sardis.
Yeah, Sardis is the main one.
Sardis.
Which is a question you've got later on where something poignant happened to me.
Yes.
And I'll say it now because something poignant happened to me in Sardis.
Oh, really?
And it was the most wonderful thing. You have to know a bit about my life or this world I live in. But I'm sitting in Sardis with a guy who is a songwriter called Jeff Stevens. You won't know his name. No one knows songwriters' names. But he wrote There's a Kind of Hush All Over the World,
wonderful.
Winchester Cathedral.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. And who walked in? It was, I couldn't believe it, Richard Rodgers.
Oh, my goodness.
And as he walked in, the piano player played Manhattan. I'll take Manhattan. And you imagine the mood.
Amazing.
And it was just the most amazing, because he was the man.
Yeah.
If anyone in the theatre business, he's the man, Richard Rodgers, way before Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
And I wrote a note to him. I said, I don't care, Jeff, we've got to do this. And I wrote a note over. And I said, Dear Mr. Rodgers, we're 2 songwriters, Don, Born Free, Black, and Jeff, There's a Kind of Hush, whatever it was. G. Stevens, we'd love to say hello. And he went over the guy, and the waiter, Richard Rodgers called us over. What was wonderful and terrible, because he was ill.
Oh, no.
He had throat cancer.
Oh, dear.
So he couldn't speak much.
Sad.
But it was still, he just gave us such a warm love, as, feeling that people do in the same profession.
Of course.
As if to say, I know what you go through, you know. It was just a thing that I'll never forget.
But that must have been such an amazing thing because, as you say, Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yes, I mean, he's written everything.
Everything.
Rodgers and Hart. I mean,
Yeah,
all these
Rodgers and Hart.
thousands of hits, you know.
Oh, how that really
That
is
was
an
lovely.
amazing story.
Yeah.
How lovely that he actually, of course, he was
And when
going
you think
to.
of Manhattan, you know, you think, oh my God, he wrote that as well.
And I'm in Manhattan,
Yeah.
sitting here.
It all,
That is
it all
a
made sense.
really lovely, poignant story.
Poignant. That's right.
What is your best travel tip?
Well, I wish I had something clever to say here, but I like to think of the place I'm going to, a bit, catch up on it, check up on where I'm going, because it saves you asking so many questions. But it's not really, as I said earlier, you know, when I go to a holiday, and instantly I don't like long holidays. I'm not, you know, it's. I always like to, everyone will tell you who knows me, I hate long-windedness.
Yeah.
This is one of my characteristics. And it's like songwriting. There is a correlation. My whole life is it's
Get
like
the right words.
Yeah, I was a comedian.
Were you?
Yeah, I was a stand-up comedian before I became I missed that out at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah. And
Were you a good comedian?
yeah, well, I did it professionally. I played a lot of places.
Did you?
Yeah. And there's a correlation between comedy and lyric writing. You'll find any great comedian will not waste a syllable. Or they will, you can kill a gag. And, when you write a lyric, it's got to be so concise. And
The same with a holiday.
It's the same with a holiday. Once I've been to Sandy Lane for a week,
Yeah.
oh, it's lovely. I get it. It's fabulous. What time's the plane?
When am I going home?
Yeah, I'm always that. And it's the same. I'm the same with museums. And it's not because I've listened to your program. And as I mean, people like Dominic West, he likes to see the redwood trees. And Giles Brandreth, we went pony trekking in, was it?
Iceland or somewhere like
Iceland.
that.
Yeah, and who was the other one that I was talking
Toby
about?
Jones.
Toby Jones, hitchhiking in the Himalayas. That it's me and a tree is fine and a book.
Perfect.
It's plenty for me. But I like that, when I go on holiday, I do want to have a holiday. And I've never had that pioneering spirit, I'm afraid. But you've had many guests who do have it.
Absolutely. And I love a tree and a book and a hammock.
A hammock's even better.
Lovely. Absolutely perfect. Perfect scenario.
Good.
Very, very good. Very good. So finally, I asked you to bring a photo.
Yeah.
Tell me about the photo and what that means to you in travel.
Okay, well, the photo, again, this photo, I think, is overrated, this photo business, because all photos go in a drawer.
Yeah.
They do. So wherever I've been to Shanghai, I've been to wherever I've been to Chile, I've been to all those places that South Africa and whatever. But you have to go through so many drawers to get to those pictures. And I remember going to Shanghai, and Shirley, my late wife, said, we got to take something back. And we spent so much time looking for some ornament or some vase
Trinket.
or something. And it was a glorious day of going through all the antique shops and everything else. So I've got this lovely piece at home. And the thing about it is I see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's there. Oh, I look at it and think, yeah, those were the days.
When I was in Shanghai.
Yeah, as opposed to a picture that you've got to say, where was that picture?
I print all my photos. So I go through my phone because that's the problem with phones. You take so many and then you never see them. So I go through my photos at the end of the year, delete them, and then I print them all in a photo book because I actually want a physical copy of a photograph.
Right.
And then I put photos around the house and I change them all the time because I think you're right. Otherwise you just don't see them, do you?
That's why you're Tanya Rose.
Oh, dear. So what's next for Don Black? Where are you going next, and what's next? Are you writing? Are
well,
you creating?
Funny, I am working on things. Everyone is always, but there is one hotel that I used to love, and I always said I'd go back, and I'm going to go back to that, and it's in Forte de Marmi.
Oh yes.
You know, the Augustus.
I don't know that hotel. Is it wonderful?
It's a fabulous hotel.
I love
so I want to
Forte
go
de
there.
Marmi.
But there's no passion. I'm very happy sitting in Holland Park, you know.
And writing your wonderful words. I hope you are going to write something else.
Oh, I'm going to. I know exactly what I am going to do. Just so you hear it first here. It's a musical called Feather Boy, and the music is by Debbie Wiseman, who's very well known in her field. And I can tell you the story in a sentence, so it doesn't go on and on.
No, please.
It's a story of a group of children, roughly about age 10, 11 or 12, and they visit an old age home.
Oh.
And it's what they learn from old people and what the old people learn from young people.
Oh,
and it's funny,
wonderful.
And there's a tear or two in it as well.
It's
called Feather Boy at a theatre near you.
Coming soon.
Well, hopefully this year.
I can't wait. I'm coming. First night, please.
You'll be there, 2 on the aisle.
Please, I absolutely cannot wait to hear it and to come and see it. How wonderful. And if there's anywhere that you want to go, please just let me know. I would be delighted to send you.
Thank you, Tanya. I've enjoyed this very much.
It's been so wonderful. I knew it would be a joy and a delight to speak to you. Thank you,
darling.
Thank you.